Welcome to another edition of a Brobdingnagian Minute. How long is a Brobdingnagian Minute? Well, it's as long as an overused Christmas song that has too many ho-ho-hos in it.
I'm not sure why that really...
Yeah, it shouldn't be as funny as it is, but it is.
No, it really shouldn't, but it is. There's an album that Sia, I don't know if you've heard this album, she did this album, a Christmas album a few years back, and one of the songs is, I think is it called Ho Ho Ho? I think so, but it's like the chorus is a ho 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 and a bottle of rum, ho ho hum. I'm like, what is it about this song? I think because it hits on the ho ho ho
Right.
and rum, which is Renaissance festival thing. I'm like, this is just great.
Right.
But kids love it too. So hey, whatever.
Right.
Welcome to the Bards podcast. I hope you're having a great day today. And Andrew and I just had a great conversation. We were talking about the track that we're going to discuss today, tell you more about, which was another track, Christmas Time in Texas, is what we're going to talk about. But one of the other tracks from Christmas in Brobdingnag was Little Drummer Boy, which is a cover song, but we actually had a live recording, a bootleg live recording from a huge amphitheater Coliseum concert in Rome, Italy. Right, Andrew? That was totally where it was, right?
Yeah.
If you want to hear that, you need to be a patron. And we want to thank all of our amazing patrons because the Brobdingnagian Bards music is financed entirely by our fans. And the Nagians Only Club on Patreon, just $5 per month. And you can support the Bards and help us create new music, including those bootleg concerts, real or fake, videos, and first access to new songs whenever we get around to those. But it supports this podcast and our music. So please become a patron today if you can. And also in that Nagians Only part of the show, you're going to learn about my show at the Lost Druid Brewery that happened last week with my daughter. Which daughter? And the Louisiana Ren Fair that Andrew is experiencing, right? You're still going on it, right?
Right. Still have two more weekends.
So hopefully you at least be one more weekend by the time this is published. All right. And as far as, Andrew, of course, is at the, what was the last weekend of Louisiana Ren Fair?
It's the 10th and 11th.
Okay. So
December.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Andrew will be there. You can catch him there. And of course, December 10th in Sandy Springs, Georgia, I'll be at Pontoon Brewery. December 17th, Three Taverns Craft Brewery in Decatur. January 6th through 8th, I'll be at Gefilk in Atlanta. January 21st, Maggie McGinnis Pub in Huntsville, Alabama. And January 28th at the Lost Druid in Avondale Estates, Georgia. So, all right. So what else is new with you? You've been at the Louisiana Ren Fair. Have you been working on any new music?
Yes, I have.
How's Life's Affair coming? What's new?
Yeah, a lot of things. Let's see. I am working on some new music, a couple of CDs, actually finishing up the dance CD and working on a convention CD.
Do you have a timeline as far as when you expect to have these done, or at least a release date or anything, or are you just waiting until you finish it before you pick
kind of waiting until I finish it, but I should at least get the dance CD done by the end of this month, end of December, and then the convention CD I want to have done before Sherwood. That's before March.
Okay.
So end of February. That's kind of the general goal. I mean, it doesn't always happen, but I think I can make it because I want to have that convention CD before I start doing conventions again.
Yeah, that's always good. Do you have any conventions lined up?
Well, not before Gen Con or Dragon Con yet. So that's sort of
which, technically speaking, we're not, either of them. But
yeah.
But
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where first I want to get the convention CD. Once I have that to promote, then it's like, okay, now I need to start booking conventions and going crazy with it. Because without that CD, it just doesn't make as much sense, to be blunt.
I disagree. I don't agree with that. No, I mean, you have a CD, first off.
True.
You've been playing conventions for, 20 years.
I guess I can get away with it. And I guess if I have a timeline on the con CD, but...
And if you think about it, when you and I started playing at conventions, we had A Fair to Remember. That was the CD. Maybe we might have had Songs of Ireland, but those were our CDs that we had, and they were not.
That's true, but
convention
cons are
CDs.
very different now. The convention world has changed a bit. We got into conventions at an insanely good time.
I still don't think so. I think that, if nothing else, Gen Con is a good example.
I don't know if we could get in Dragon Con now if we tried, honestly.
Well, no, you're right. I mean, it is, we definitely got in there a lot at a good time, but it's not about Dragon Con. We're talking about, what do you have in Texas? Is that one up in, there's one in Dallas, there's AggieCon.
There's FinCon and AggieCon and AlCon and all of these different ones.
ArmadilloCon, these are all, there's a lot of conventions.
Yeah, there are. And
they don't require a CD. So, obviously you want to have a CD done, but I don't think that should, because the thing is that we're talking, most of these conventions, you're booking 6 to 9 months.
No, that's true.
In advance.
That is
true. So you may as well just start,
But that's kind of what that is kind of what I'm thinking of. I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, going through my, all of next year and the year after and picking out, this is what I want to do and this is what I need to start booking. So yeah, I am going to start looking at conventions here in the next few weeks.
Okay.
So I will start booking, but I haven't done that yet is kind of the point I was getting at.
Well, I would highly recommend it because, you may as well get started now if that's what you want to do as opposed to, Renaissance. Same thing with Renaissance festivals too. It's like it's a 9 month out that you need to start actually planning to book those things, I feel like. So,
oh yeah,
you can get them sooner, but apparently you can get them at the Texas Renaissance Festival, as we talked about in the Nagian section.
Right. With that
where they apparently fired all the cast right after the
not
season.
The cast, but the staff, the people
staff
in the office, the general manager, entertainment director, all that kind of stuff.
That's just crazy. That's wild. If it's something you want to do, then definitely.
I just kind of have been, instead of booking, I've been concentrating way too much on music. Like just the other day, I started working on a new song that is turning out really good, and I love it. It's what's it called? It's called the Evil Hierarchy of Cancellations. And
what is this one's about?
Oh, it's about the different studios and how they cancel shows.
Nice.
So of course Fox is the worst. The last verse of this is the worst studio ever for the history of cancellations, and they've only been around since the '80s. So they've really made up for the lack of being around since like CBS and NBC and all of that. Obviously Fox is the granddaddy of those. But then Netflix comes on strong with their cancellations.
That's what I was about to say because
they're trying they're closing ground quick,
right?
So that's what the song's about. It's funny. It's good stuff. I mean, it's just because I've never heard of people like really reference that on that level before, and it's always been like Let's do an intense study of this and actually look at the statistics and say, okay, yes, you're the evil empire. Ha ha.
Right.
And I've got you now. And that's So anyway, this is my Death Star run at the evil.
Fantastic.
So that's what I am working on it. This is going to be a fun CD. It's
good.
I'm making progress, and I'm kind of sheltered in this place in New Orleans. So I'm surrounded by music. I just open my door and I hear jazz in the background, and the person staying in the apartment below me, they'll break out their trumpet and start playing at random times. It's great.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. It's a fun time, and I'm enjoying the Ren Fair immensely. It's a good crowd and good weekends, and everybody's really been into it. I mean, it's just, it's been a good feeling. So all of that, then of course I've been maintaining my Monday night Life's a Fair Life shows, where every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central, I do a live stream and talk about what's going on with me and what's going on in the industry and just things that are that I find interesting. Yeah, that's been fun, and people seem to like that. So I've been trying to maintain that on the road, and I think I've done pretty well. I think I've worked out most of the bugs now.
Very cool. Yeah, I've been working on all my usual stuff at this time of year. I have the Celtic Christmas podcast. which is going 3 episodes in now, and I have a couple more that I'm planning to release, but need to work on them. And then planning my end of the year stuff for the Irish and Celtic Music podcast, which I've been trying to get ahead on stuff in particular with I do the Celtic Top 20, which is the top 20 tracks of the year. And this time I'm going to do a hoping, and it's now the time I need to start compiling this information, is compiling the top bands and such that I typically do usually in January or February, and I really like to put it out in December, but depends if I'll have time.
It's always a tough one.
Yeah, I did finish recording the last episode of the Pub Songs and Stories for the year, because as much as I want to do another one of these stories and promote during Christmas time, I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I have this. Andrew and I are going to do a show. Well, that will be my Christmas podcast, and I'm not going to do another one. I am not going to do it. I have to force myself to remember and just start working on the next one, which is come out, the beginning of next year. So we'll see. We'll see if I can live up to that.
Well, you kind of put me in a bad habit, back in the day.
Yeah? How so?
Well, because when you first started playing music, what would happen is starting in around December 10th, you'd go out and fly and visit your mom in Italy.
Yeah.
And then so just all the bards, people would ask us, oh, can you play at this Christmas this Christmas event that we have? And it'd be like, no, can't. Mark's out of the country.
Right.
And, can you play New Year's? Sorry, Mark's out of the country. And you'd get back around January 10th or or something like that. So it was a month off. So it was
I don't know if it's that long, but it was
almost 3 weeks to a month. And it was but you'd get back and you'd be wiped from traveling from Italy and all that. So you didn't want.
But I definitely do remember though that having to take some of it off. But I don't do many Christmas things myself this time of year. I think part of it is because I have the podcast, so I haven't even started practicing Christmas songs yet.
I don't even think about booking stuff in Christmas. It's just a habit that I'm into. So I'm turning over a new leaf. You've inspired me now. What I'm going to do is starting next year, I'm going to book some stuff in December. It's the first time that's ever happened for me because I just never do it.
You should.
It's a bad habit.
It.
I just got in that habit of taking Christmas off, which is nice, but honestly, I could book a couple of gigs.
Too.
Yeah, well, I could book a couple of gigs and everybody wins. It's not a big deal. Or I can just, get revenge and start traveling to Italy every Christmas. Whatever. One of the two.
Right.
One of the two.
Well, you should consider that too. You should follow Vince Conaway's model and say, hey, let's spend holidays and
the problem with that is I think I'd need to come up with a different show because a lot of my busking routes involve the recorder, and the recorder just is not an interesting instrument for Europe because everybody plays the recorder over there. It's such a European instrument.
I don't know if they play that in the streets though. I have never seen a recorder in the streets that I can.
Maybe not, but I think the reason why is because it's I feel like I was going to an SCA event where everybody knows the recorder and it's such a standard instrument.
I think
in school they all played it.
I think it has the same novelty effect that you have at Renaissance Festival. I don't think it's any different.
I don't know
because you should try. Just take it any old place to see how people respond. Because it's not about the instrument as much as it is about the content and your dashing blue eyes.
Well, there's that. Sure.
Because when you're playing, a lot of times things that attract people to stuff is playing something that people are familiar with. So, if you're playing Aha or you're playing Scarborough Fair, it doesn't matter. It's the same song that someone knows, and that's the reason that they're perking up.
It might
if
be
you're playing an original
song,
that's a different thing.
But I'd need to really figure out the best shtick because it's an expensive experiment. I'd need to have alternatives.
That's true. It's true. Well, what you do is you plan on a vacation. Plan on going for a week and
then try it out once or twice.
And then try it out. Yeah. See how it works.
That works. That is something I've been thinking about. Because at this point, we've done this for so long. We have friends all over Europe.
Yeah.
So I've got friends in Germany, friends in France, friends in.
If you find someplace to
Italy,
stay,
friends in so it's not that hard.
I remember Vince used to stay at the youth hostels,
right?
And until he realized he could actually make money, and then he was like, oh, I don't need to stay there anymore. So same sort of thing. Just try it out. It's an opportunity to travel, anyways. I mean, and I don't know if you have as much of a passion for that as I do, but I love to travel. I would still love to do this
quite as much, but I enjoy it. I mean, it is fun.
That was really funny. A few weeks back, there was I think it was Kenzie's school. Yeah. They announced that they were going to do a school field trip to Europe next summer. So they said that they gave us a date to look at this up. And Kenzie, after we all went to Europe back in June, and she was like, oh, that would be great. I'd love to do this. And we're like, that would be awesome. We would love it. And then we get out there and they show us the price. And I was like, whoa, I don't remember what it was. Like, it was like $3,000 or $4,000. I was like, oh my God, never mind. We can't afford that. But as we were finishing it, I was like, you know what? I could do the same trip for your friends for a fraction of the cost.
Right.
And I was like, man, yeah, I think that might be a better route to go. And so I might, one of these days I might do a trip for Kenzie's friends or something. And then we get to go see Europe, and, we have to manage a few kids, but whatever.
Hey.
They'll all be moody preteens. So, that'll be okay.
I know, but don't worry about it, Mark. I mean, they'll take care of you and make sure you don't wander off too much.
Thanks. I hope so.
Because let me tell you, when you travel, you can be a big kid. I'm just going to say it out loud.
I will not argue this point at all.
But that's also why it's fun to travel with you. So.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about Christmas time in Texas. I don't know when this song was written, but you say...
I think 2005, according to when it was recorded.
Well, that was when it was recorded, but I'm wondering if it might have been written in 200004 because I would have.
Oh, yeah, like right after the previous Christmas? Yeah, that sounds right. That we did a few things like that where it was like Christmas and you were like, oh, I want to write a Christmas song. It's too late to release it now, but next year.
And then, of course, you don't think about actually recording it until November.
Yeah.
I mean, I now think about in September and October when I was like, this is when I need to be recording. But nevertheless,
it's a really hard thing because ideally what you want to do is start writing and recording and starting the marketing process for your Christmas music in like June.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard to get in that Christmas spirit and do that in June. So
yeah, it is.
Sometimes it makes sense to just kind of spend one Christmas writing all the stuff and doing the prep work for next Christmas. I mean, I really think that's a good way to do it. For me, I don't know. Maybe you have no trouble writing in June, but for me, I like getting in that Christmas mood.
No, I'm the same way. Trying to do stuff. I mean, when I'm planning my Christmas podcast, I have to start in September or something like that. Is usually when I start. I start talking about it in October, and much to the annoyance of everyone because they're like, I don't want to hear anything about Christmas right now, and I'm like, I feel you, but I have to think about this, and I need to start planning. And the other thing is, like with podcasting, you kind of have to release multiple. You have to get populate the podcast feed, so you have to plan ahead. You can't do it start podcasting when people actually want to hear it, which is at the end of November after Thanksgiving.
Right.
You have to pretty much start. October is when I record the first one. I think I don't know if I released it in. The first one, if it was released in October, I think it might have been. And then I released two in November. But it's kind of one of those things that has to be done. And you have to do it that way. And of course, I'm not getting any new Christmas music until November, which is also annoying because then it means I think I've gotten like, 3 or 4, 5 submissions tops. And now people are probably saying, okay, time to send this out. And I'm like, no, that was 2 months ago. You should have been doing this. Highly frustrating. Anyways.
But no. How did the song come about? I mean, as far as Mark started this. He did the foundation of this song. So
So the song is credited, of course, to Andrew and me. I wrote the melody, and Andrew was a vital part of the comedic comedy in the song because I was writing a song that was satirical, but it wasn't necessarily funny.
Which sometimes you got to bring the laughs. Yeah.
Right. And Andrew's really good at bringing the punchline, I think, especially when I bring you something and such. So the song, of course, has a lot of these tropes that remind me of like my family in East Texas where they live, and the trucks and the guns and the fact that it's warm outside. I remember one Christmas in San Antonio when I was I don't know how old I was, 8, 10, something like that. You might remember when that was, when they had an actual snowstorm and that might have hit San Antonio, Andrew. But and I built a snowman that was like 3 inches tall.
Really, that age? Oh yeah. That would have been 80, 82. Yeah, that was right.
Is it? Well, I was thinking a little later in the 80s, but maybe.
No, well, you'd have been about 10, right?
No, well, I moved to Texas in 82. And so it would have been, I feel like it would have been after that, but it could have been 82.
There was a serious snowstorm in around that time back in, let me see, it was in 82.
Okay.
So that's the one I'm thinking of, because where the snow was actually on the ground for a few days like that.
Yeah.
That was it. Because that doesn't happen much there.
Yeah. Yes, particularly in San Antonio, which is even further in the southern area.
Yeah.
So let me go through some of the lyrics. You can see if you can remember any of your contributions, Andrew.
We'll see.
Because I start off with, there's no white Christmas day unless you drive a white Chevrolet. Again, one of those great tropes. You won't hear the sleigh bells ringing unless the Salvation Army is Santa-ing in your Christmas time in Texas. I kind of feel like you might have had something to do with that one. I'm not positive.
Maybe.
But, maybe at least fine tuning the lyrics though. If you feel the holiday blues, go outside with no shoes. That is normal for that time of year. Mm-hmm. No, don't need shoes. When Santa Claus arrives, he'll be wearing SPF 45. I'm pretty sure you came up with that one.
That sounds like me.
Yeah, SPF 45. I think I had something else. I don't know what it is, but that sounds very different from what I remember. The sun is shining bright. Here's the chorus. Don't expect snowflakes tonight. And if you hear Kris Kringle outside, his sleigh won't get stuck. He's flying in style in his monster truck. Again, I'm pretty sure that was yours during Christmas time in Texas. The chorus, I really loved how it evolves in each verse too. So that's one of the after each verse, rather. So don't bother with Christmas lights. Buy your cold winter clothing half price. The presents right beneath your trees will all smell like mesquite in your Christmas time in Texas. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Every time I come across those ending lines, I'm like, that's Andrew, right? Maybe. I don't know.
No, the mesquite one was yours. I remember that.
Okay. The sun is shining bright. Don't expect snowflakes tonight. Santa won't come down your chimney. That's not what they're for. In Texas, we're friendly. He'll use the front door. That was totally you.
Yeah.
That was totally you.
That's my turn of phrase. Yeah. That's definitely stylistically me.
So, during Christmas time in Texas. Christmas morning, you will hope in your stocking there's a new rope. Forget eggnog. Drink light beer as you wrestle your new steer in your Christmas time in Texas. And then the final chorus, the sun is shining bright. Don't expect snowflakes tonight. If you hear in your chimney a man that is stuck, load up your shotgun. This stranger's in trouble. Which was the one thing that I remember I really contributed, and it made me so happy.
Yes.
So I'm going to say a bad word and then talk about shooting whoever's trying to sneak into your house, which that was fun. Now when I originally did the music, I feel like it was a bit different than I imagined until Andrew, you added a was it bass? But it was on the did you do it on a keyboard?
How did I do that? No, I think what I did was, let me see. Now you got me wanting to look it up because I'm curious.
Well, I know you did. He added a bass that has this really 50s sounding, which works for all Christmas music. I feel like everyone seems to want to
bass guitar sound. I think what I did was I used my regular guitar and used the bass notes on them, and I might have lowered them an octave. I do that sometimes.
Yeah. That sounds.
And then if you do that, it's essentially a bass guitar. There's not really any difference. Huh. But bass
do you
guitar,
remember,
whistle, yeah.
Do you remember what else you added to this as far as when the
there's a whistle, recorder, bass guitar. Yeah, I'm just looking at all the tracks from the original recording.
Nice.
The different the mix. Yeah.
Cool.
And if you're wondering how I'm doing this, I actually have remoted into my computer back in Austin from where I'm staying. And I'm
That's
looking
definitely
through
a coolness factor.
Isn't it? Isn't it pretty cool? I could just do that and look at it. Yeah. In fact, if I really want to freak out my roommates over there, I could start playing it in the speakers. Right. And they'd be like, what the hell, is Andrew home?
So do any of these tropes that you hear remind you of Texas?
Oh God, yeah.
Did you experience any of these personally in your life?
You can't really grow up in Texas without at least hearing about monster trucks. Let's just be honest on this.
That's true.
It's and not having snow and making it very rare that happens. I mean, that's when it snows in Texas, everything shuts down because everybody's like, I don't know what to do with this because this is not normal. It's really, and it's safe because nobody knows how to drive on snow in Texas. Yeah. It's the way to do it. I mean, especially in central or southern Texas, it's so rare. I mean, and so many Christmases are like 55, 60, 70 degrees sometimes. It's crazy how often that happens. Yeah,
it's the idea of a white Christmas is like, I would love a white Christmas. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you think about old classic movies like White Christmas and Holiday Inn and all that, and they're I think they're more popular in the South because that's just so magical to them down there because they're not used to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like in Vermont, White Christmas is passé.
Exactly. It's so bizarre.
Totally.
I do miss having. We talk about this every year about trying to, even living in Georgia, trying to find a place to run up north so we can, or run up someplace where there's snow. Is snow coming down? Let's go make a trip.
Totally. I mean, it's a different environment, but. I really like the concept of this song. I mean, the whole Christmas time in Texas, because there wasn't really a song like this at the time. Not really. I mean, some Southern Christmas songs, yes, but just sort of making fun of of some of the silliness that where you counter the standard views of this is what Christmas is with the area you live in, where none of that is true. It's great. Yeah. I like that. This is a really good idea. And for all of you listening, I think that's a good lesson in songwriting. I mean, it's tough to write stuff on your own, but, get a good collaborator or just a friend to give it a pass, because you can always have somebody just take a quick look and edit or have a few suggestions or do a full collaboration where they write some of the stuff themselves. And together, two heads are better than one is really, I guess, the lesson here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It does help. Gwen, my wife, helps me to. We do some song. She helps edit some of my songs.
Oh, good.
Works out really. That's great. Yeah, she's really fantastic. But one of the things that I thought was really amusing about this song. So we did this song, released it in 2005, and I obviously I loved it back at the time, but we didn't do many Christmas shows. So I didn't play the song much. Right. Eventually, I still think it's funny and so, but it's still not my. It's not something I really want to play anymore. It's no longer, maybe because I'm no longer in Texas, maybe who knows. But I don't do that's not one of my all-time favorite Christmas songs to play. I'll be honest, okay? But
interesting.
That's not the case for other people. In fact, when I started playing, I was living in Birmingham, and every year. Or every month I would play a show in Marietta, Georgia before I moved here. And I was starting to build a little bit of an audience. And this one guy, Chris, he would come out every month and he would request this song every month because we had put it on the FUMP, the Funny Music Project,
right?
A number of years back, and he loved it, and he absolutely loved the song. So every month he would play this. He'd say, "Can you play Christmas Time in Texas?" I'm like, God, I gotta learn that song, and I'd forget to learn it, and then every time I'd get through the first verse or two, and I don't remember anymore. Every month. So sometime 2 years in or something, I fortunately had a digital recorder going, and we started playing the song. He requested the song, and I was like, why do you torture me? And I wrote a new song. I improv a new song, and I had a digital recorder going, and so I was able. It's on my newest CD, actually, but I really love that I was able to turn that around. Not, I always, how I used to love improving songs,
right?
But this in particular was really fun. And then now I have an excuse for any time I have a song that I'm like, I don't want to sing that right now.
Oh, that's a great idea to have an improv song for I don't want to sing it. So that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Exactly.
I like it.
So, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. We're going to play the song right now, and then we'll come back for some final notes. I realize we haven't played the song yet. Here's
this song we've been talking about that you have no idea what we're talking about. Yeah, here you go.
Here's Christmas Time in Texas.
You drive a white Chevrolet, you won't hear sleigh bells ringing, unless the Salvation Army is Santaing in your Christmas time in Texas. If you feel holiday blues, go outside with no shoes, and when Santa Claus arrives, he'll be wearing SPF 45 in your Christmas time in Texas. Oh, the sun is shining bright, don't expect snowflakes tonight. If you hear Kris Kringle outside, his sleigh won't get stuck. He's flying in style in his monster truck. During Christmas lights, buy your cold winter clothing half price, and the presents beneath your tree will all smell just like mesquite in your Christmas time in Texas. Oh, the sun is shining bright, don't expect snowflakes tonight. Santa won't use your chimney, that's not what they're for. Texas, we're friendly, he'll use the front door. During Christmas time in Texas. Christmas morning, you will hope in your stocking there's a new rope. Forget eggnog, drink light beer as you wrestle your new steer in your Christmas time in Texas. Oh, the sun is shining bright, don't expect snowflakes tonight. If you hear in your chimney a man that is stuck, load up your shotgun, the stranger is in trouble. During Christmas time in Texas.
All right. Thank y'all so much for listening. Any final words, Andrew?
Well, let's see. Well, I mean, first of all, you have some upcoming shows we didn't mention, don't you?
Oh, no, we mentioned those at the beginning. Yeah.
You
yeah,
did?
I got
you
those.
did?
Yeah, we got
You did get those? Okay. Because, I mean, I'm definitely going to try to do that. So look for me next Christmas when I'll have some shows too.
You need a Christmas concert. You should put together a Renaissance Festival Christmas concert.
I think that's what I'm going to do.
Get a few of your friends out there and say, hey, let's put together a show. Big old Christmas.
I'll have to write a new song. Dickens sucks.
You should, if you're going to do that, you can only do it if you play at the Dickens Fair. Although that conflicts with Louisiana, so maybe not.
Yeah, I can't see it. The whole I mean, let's be honest. Dickens, he had the one the really Christmas Carol book that made him synonymous with Christmas. Otherwise, I mean, he's a bit overrated. I'm just saying, there are some other authors out there. So I mean, is he Shakespeare? I think not. So I mean, and Shakespeare, he had some ghosts too. I mean, seriously. Yeah.
Right. That's true.
I mean,
all right. Y'all take care. See, even I screw up her name. The Brobdingnagian Bards podcast was produced by Mark Gunn and Andrew McKee. Sign up to our mailing list to download free MP3s and get monthly updates of what's new. You can find it all at thebards.net, and you can download our Bard bootleg version of Little Drummer Boy. Ooh. If you are a patron. Go to the show notes for episode 73 of the Bards podcast. We're out of here, right, Andrew? Sláinte.
Take care.